Here on the world's brightest stage is where legends are made.
Oh my good word!
This is the moment when the world watches as the impossible becomes possible.
100!
The moment we witness the history-making performances that come from a lifetime of commitment.
Alex Hall is doing it! Was that a 21-60?
The hard work.
He bounces back.
The determination. The dedication.
She ain't done yet.
Boom!
They all lead here to this destination.
That's unreal!
This moment. Welcome to X Games Aspen. Hello, friends, and welcome to our warm and happy home. She is Victoria Arlen. My name is Selema Masekela, and this is our X Games Aspen 2023 preview show. 66 X Games have taken place. The first time that X Games took place in Aspen was in 2002, and I was the host. Somehow or another, I'm here, I'm back after 10 years, I'm sitting next to you.
Yes.
And we're doing this.
We're doing this.
What were you doing in 2002?
I was in the second grade watching you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I suddenly feel very old. When you think about X Games, you think about the magic in the past, the huge moments. We're going to celebrate some of those while also looking forward to what is going to take place here in Aspen. We're going to celebrate the big, big moments, and we're going to talk to some of your favorite stars, some of the people who have really set the tone for what and how we define X Games. January 27th through the 29th, set your calendars and go to xgames.com for the entire schedule. You can't say X Games without saying progression.
Hands down.
This is the stage where athletes come to unveil tricks that they've never done before. They don't put them on IG.
Nope.
They don't even put them in their video parts. Once they have it in their mind, they're like, yo, I have an NBD, a never been done. They say, I'm taking it to one place. And that is X Games. Let's take a look at some of those moments that took place in 2022.
The only rule here tonight is that there are no rules.
Aspen loves it, as do we.
This is an optical illusion.
Going for the 16-20 again. This is why we love X Games. People come out here to push themselves to the absolute max.
McMorris, simply put, he is the king.
Switchback triple. Yep, so well done. Frontside triple. Does he go back 16 triple or does he go back quad? Back 16, perfect.
You can't do it any better.
Knuckle Hunt gold medalist Marcus Kleveland.
Alex Hall is doing it! No way! Was that a 21-60? Did he just go to the future? Incredible. Alex Hall, the game has been changed.
You know, this is why we love X Games, because we're just genuine fans watching, and the bar just continues to get set higher and higher and higher.
We're addicted to these moments.
We're obsessed.
And what happens is a trick that's never been done before reverberates through the community of that respective sport. And the next day, kids are going out and they're chasing it.
Yeah.
That's what's so magical about X Games. When I look at someone like Zeb Powell with that hold it. Pure creativity,
Yeah.
throws it in the moment, and now kids are probably trying that at their local hill. Let's watch more of those moments to come at this X Games. How are you gonna do that? Well, Jack Matrani is gonna show you.
Selema, welcome back to X Games, the world that you helped create. We're honored, we're thrilled, so much respect. Also, so much respect to my intern, Max99, who has been grinding tirelessly, putting together this presentation to help show you how to watch X Games Aspen 2023. Let's jump right into it. X Games, how to watch. One way to watch is on ESPN and ABC with your hosts, Selema Masekela and Victoria Arlen. Very popular TV channels. Sometimes you have the remote with voice command. You can just hold it in and say X Games. It'll bring you right there. So easy these days. You can also stream it on Twitch and YouTube. That's where myself and Hannah Rad are going to be hanging out. A little bit more of an interactive way to enjoy the viewing experience of X Games. Jump into the chat, hanging out with athletes, musicians. We're doing pre-shows, so check us out on Twitch. Social media. A lot of kids are on it these days, am I right? And then you can watch all the behind-the-scene content, best moments, highlight stories, and then, of course, best advice for now is xgames.com. It has all the info. Find the schedule, TV, in person, it's all there. And that's how to watch X Games Aspen 2023. And now something I've been waiting years to say. Back to you, Selema.
I guess this means we're supposed to kick, right?
Kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
That dude is amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible snowboarder. The creativity knows no bounds. And you are too kind, sir. I did not create this thing. I just sprinkled a little bit of sauce, a little sizzle, and I'm happy to be back. When we come back, we're going to be talking to some of the greats from both the past and the present and see how they're fired up for X Games 2023. Stay with us. Welcome back to the I Pray All Day. That is our X Games Aspen 23 preview show. My name is Selema Masekela. To my far right, Victoria Arlen, and two whole and actual legends, X Games gold medalist Jen Hudak and Tom Wallish. Welcome. You're here, so that means that we are talking about skiing. And Tom, I mean, your years just putting in legendary performances at X Games. I remember them. I was commentating many of your big moments. What's it like for you now for where skiing is at? Give us the lay of the land as we head into 2023.
It's amazing. It's so cool to be on this side of it now, watching, talking it, spreading the love to the world about the sport. I miss those days, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot safer on this side than sending yourself off those massive jumps. But on the men's side this season, I mean, the guy to watch out for is Alex Hall. He came out swinging last year and did a 2160, spun himself all the way into the future.
And why is he going to be the guy at X Games Aspen 2023, aside from that epic trick?
Well, obviously, he's got the biggest tricks, but also he's one of the most diverse athletes we've ever seen and has the ability to walk away with potentially 3 gold medals in 3 different events, which would be the first time it's been done in over 15 years.
Yeah, for context, that was Travis Pastrana in 2006 when he did the iconic double backflip. Won freestyle and also won a gold in rally car racing. Just, you know, if you want to know what the levels are that we're talking about here. Who else on the men's side?
There's so much talent on the men's side, but ever since Alex Hall did that 2160, there's a lot of other athletes that have 1980s, maybe a 2160 of their own. And I'm watching Norwegian Berk Ruud. He is on a tear this season, winning everything. You gotta watch out for Matej Svancer. He had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder last year.
That's a dangerous spot.
Because he didn't agree with the judging. He did 2 tricks that he thought were different enough and ended up not making the podium, but he's an Austrian coming that really wants to take that gold medal away from Alex Hall.
Alex has proven that he's capable of collecting golds in all of these disciplines. He's the only skier in history to have 4 gold medals from 4 different disciplines. So the opportunity is ripe for this record to be set by him, but there is a lot of competition out there.
And he's not the only Alex in the game. There's a hometown Alex in Superpipe who would like to podium dance.
Yeah, of course. Alex Ferreira, the Aspen guy, the most energized and enthusiastic skier out there. He was nursing injury last season during X Games, so this year He's coming out swinging with tricks, swinging his pole around in the air, and looking to do some big 1620s in super pipe and hopefully walk away with another gold medal of his own.
All right, don't just take Tom's word for it. Here's Alex Ferreira on why he's fired up for X Games 2023.
The goal was to always win X Games since I was a kid, and I won it. In 2020, I remember the newspaper clipping in the Aspen Daily News or the Aspen Times said, "You're only as good as your last gold medal." And sure enough, I won that year again, and it was a wonderful moment. The thing that makes me a better athlete every day is the routine. I'm doing the sauna every day. I'm going to the steam room. I'm going to the hot tub with affirmations, going to sports psychology, physical therapy. Literally anything and everything you can think of, I'm trying to do. In 2022, I'd unfortunately injured myself at the Mammoth Grand Prix, bone contusion on my knee, so I couldn't really do anything. So I stayed at my house and I watched from the couch, icing and healing. The goal for 2023 is to win again. I want 3, I don't know, maybe even more, but I definitely want to win this year. I want to be back on top of the box. I want to represent Aspen in the best light, and X Games is the pinnacle event for us. It's our Super Bowl, so I want to do it. I want to win.
You can't watch that segment and not root for the guy. There's something about his energy that is so genuine, and when he's talking about all the different aspects of how he prepares and just the joy of winning the thing. Like, you're like, yeah, I want you to do the thing. I'm supposed to be objective, and I'm no longer objective.
And he's home. It's home for him. That's what's so cool.
The photos of him and his family and the face in the crowd, like it's exciting.
All right, we've realized the dudes. Let's shift over to the women. Jen Hudak, 2010 X Games gold medalist. When you look at the women's field, what are you excited about?
I mean, like Tom, I'm excited about everything right now. The level is just unreal, and I feel like the competition is so rich these days. It's just really balanced. It's not just one person who's putting on a great show. It's everybody putting on a great show. But I'm really excited to see Tess Ledoux and Eileen Gu battling it out this year in big air and slope style. And then, of course, I'm a super pipe athlete myself, so I'm very excited to watch all that go down. And
historically at X Games, and just in sports in general, rivalries are a beautiful thing. If it wasn't for, the rivalries of Bucky and Bob pushing each other, invert, everyone versus Shaun White, I can go, on and down the line. When you get two athletes that are pushing each other, it's good for the sport. Is this a legitimate rivalry between Eileen and Tess?
This is a legitimate rivalry. I mean, I'd love to hear from you, Tom, too, on what you're observing, but it seems fierce.
Yeah, I think, from the other events I've called and seeing them interact, Tess and Eileen both are so competitive, and they both want to be the most progressive woman in free ski. They want to do the biggest trick, that they want to beat each other. It's not just a battle for the gold medal, it's to beat the other woman in the field.
All right, Jen, so the rivalry is slope and big air, but let's talk about super pipe.
It's a great question because, Tess and Eileen, that rivalry really exists in big air and in slope style, but Eileen's third event, super pipe, is one of her strongest events. Her ability to consistently hold massive amplitude the entire way down, have technicality, and have style in her run really puts her in a league of her own. I think that gives her a better shot at securing a medal, but that's more events to compete in, and it can wear you down more, and Tess has a little bit of that narrowed focus. Superpipe's gonna be fun to watch this year too, and there's a newcomer on the scene, Amy Frazier, that was doing switch nines on her first hit earlier this season, and so I'm really excited to see her take to the X Games halfpipe, and it's going to be a fun show.
Let's check in. We actually had an opportunity to catch up with Eileen Gu as she's headed to Aspen.
Free skiing is a lot of things to me. I think that I naturally have a very analytical mind, but that free skiing is a really beautiful application of that mind into a creative process. Skiing itself it's an exploration of the self because it teaches you resilience. I love the feeling of being nervous. I love learning a new trick, overcoming that, and feeling like you're capable of anything.
Double cork to the right. It's going to be a big jump up. Oh, just missing the rotation a bit on this one.
I think entering any contest, my goal is always to do my own best, and that could look different on different days, but it's always to feel that level of fear, feel the pressure, and to overcome it.
Eileen Gu now finds herself at the bottom of the pack here. Opting for the big right side 900. Eileen Gu dominating. X Games rookie performance. Wow. Court 900 to the left. Look at the height meter. And it's Eileen Gu with yet another gold medal.
And so for this X Games, it's no different. I want to do everything that I can on the given day, perform to the best of my abilities, and have a good time.
We are grateful to Eileen for giving us a little glimpse into her mindset. And how exciting is it that it's not just Alex Hall who has the opportunity at Triple Gold, as Eileen is in 3 events as well. Are you ready?
Can't wait.
I'm
So
ready.
excited.
Tom, Jen, thank you guys for stopping by. We will see you in Aspen, fired up. Jen, this sweater level or above
Yes.
for Aspen.
It's required.
Tom,
That's a
whatever
lot
you
of
want to
pressure.
do. Good luck. When we come back, we're going to look at some more magical moments in the history of X Games as we get fired up for Aspen 2023.
Insane trick that has ever been done in a ski big air.
Perfect 100, the first time ever. That is why this dude is Shaun White.
Zeb Powell took the lead off of his first run and never looked back.
Welcome back to our forest home. My name is Selema Masekela. This is Victoria Arlen. She's very silly. And Brandon Graham joining us for the Aspen X Games 2023 preview show, where we're getting fired up for all things that are coming in Aspen, but also taking a look back at the rich and incredible history of X Games, the iconic moments that leave us wanting more every time we come to this time of year. Brandon, It's nice to see you, bud.
Right back at you, Selema. It truly is surreal to be with you both. Obviously, Victoria and I have known each other for a long time. And
you and I have known each other a long time, too.
I was just gonna say, just to bring it full circle, as a college intern who would bug you for advice and counsel so many years ago, you were always so gracious with your time to me, and to now sit across from you is, it's extraordinary. The king is back. Racket it back to you. You're on the Mount Rushmore. There's no doubt about that. So let me kind of take the host spot from you for a second. Let me put you on the spot.
Okay.
What's that singular X Games moment, that tenet time for you that you look back on going, holy, I was there for that?
It's really hard, man, especially when you think about it. For me, I was there for 13 years, right? My first year was 1999. And yeah, it was like the years in which X Games took action sports and built it into a global culture, where everyone who was into any other sport had to recognize that, oh, these sports play on the same level as the NBA, the NFL, etc. And I was thinking about, like, when it comes to Aspen, what are my moments? I think Travis Rice, when he came out of nowhere in 2002 and won slopestyle and just shot heard around the world. He wins a snowmobile, and then from that time forward, goes on to launch 25 video parts and become the most, storied, if not the greatest snowboarder of all time. But that moment at X Games launched his career. I think about Kelly Clark with her back-to-back-to-back wins in Superpipe that were like, that was a definitive time, not just for her, but the real collective progression of like, oh, women's snowboarding, it's not just over here now, but it's in the same conversation of anticipation as the men. And I was there for Kevin Jones, doing, like, when he did his 450 board slide, in slopestyle. That was something that you would maybe see in a video part, and I think 270 out, and then it did so in slopestyle. It was like, oh, these tricks that you've just seen in films can make their way into competition. And then, of course, like, My favorite moment, I think, is the Shaun White perfect run.
100.
The 100. At the time, there was no one on the planet who could even think about doing that run.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. I think of not you just being back in the mix, music's back in the mix.
Music is back.
After a couple-year hiatus, I mean, Aspen, X Games, the music stage, all synonymous with one another, and it's so cool to see. The crowds came back last year, which was amazing, but now we've got a music lineup back, and you think about the history of music at X. You think about Metallica. I think about Blink-182. I know you're a huge fan of.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, of course.
Chainsmokers.
Yeah. Louis the Child, I watched that from home, being like, oh, I wish I was there. And as we welcome music back, we welcome two artists that not really from the same neighborhood,
Nope.
but they're gonna do it at X, and that's the beauty of X Games, right? You got Cascade over here and Young Gravy.
Yep.
Maybe they'll even figure out a way to collab out of this. We'll find out. But we're gonna talk to Young Gravy to see what it means for him to be out at X Games.
Misty flip? That my girl Anna Gasser. Goodness gracious. Hello? Oh, what's up, Selema? Oh man, I'm just doing my research right now. Yeah, getting ready for the X Games. Not qualified, baby. Oh, you know I'm qualified. Just you wait, dog. So what qualifies a fella like me to perform at the X Games Aspen this year? True story. I was ranked number 6 at free skiing in southern Minnesota back in 2012, baby. If that doesn't qualify me, then I really don't know what could. So after an immaculate slopestyle career in Minnesota, I took a trip out to Colorado and I realized that Minnesota 6 ain't really nothing in Colorado, so, you know, I had to pivot. I wanted to stay doing something icy, so maybe I joined the rap game. And who would have thought the rap game would bring me right back to the mountain, baby? We about to heat it up, baby. This year, X Games, Young Gravy, baby. Now that I finally made it to the X Games, baby, I can't wait to get buttery on some shred sticks, kick it with some legends like Tom Wallace, Jamie Anderson, Anna Gasser. The gravy train's coming through, baby. It's gonna be MILFs galore, action sports galore. What more could you ask for, baby?
It is clear that Young Gravy is ready for these heated streets of Aspen.
It really is. I mean, it's cold there, so.
And the streets are heated. And he's gonna bring more heat with his sounds.
Facts.
Hard facts. You know what else we're ready for? Snowboarding.
I was hoping you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, let's not lose the plot here. This is what it's about. Who is holding on to what tricks? Who's going after what? We're gonna find out. When we you thought this, it's called it's a tease, Brandon. Come on, you went to school.
That's why he's the king.
When we come back here at the X Games Aspen 2023 preview show.
Scotty James, he is riding at a level that surpasses anything we thought possible.
Bobby Brown, that's the first time that has ever been done.
Your current leader, Tesla Dud.
Just flawless.
Chloe Kim is your youngest gold medalist ever at an X Games winter event. Do you believe it?
Welcome back to our wooded nest that is the X Games Aspen 2023 preview show. We're talking about snowboarding. Let's begin with the women and slopestyle and address the queen first, Jamie Anderson, the most dominant woman in the history of professional snowboarding. She is not going to be with us here in Aspen because she's with child. And with that absence, by the way, 21 medals that she has.
Tied most all time.
Right, with Mark McMorris. Who do we look at? I mean, the first name that for me in slopestyle, I think of the next elder stateswoman in Anna Gasser.
Anna is extraordinary, but her X Games career has been half of the amount of time as Jamie, even though they're practically the same age.
But what's really rad to watch with her is her consistency at getting to know and getting better at snowboarding, taking this incredible natural air awareness that comes from her background as an athlete, and then applying that to getting better and better and better at snowboarding. And still at 31, she's posting clips that make you think, yeah, she could easily surprise the rest of a very stacked field.
Yeah, I think of the Japanese riders. Leila Iwabuchi, Kokomo Murase. I mean, these were teenage sensations that hit X Games running. They went from overnight sensations where you didn't really see these young ladies in a lot of contests, and then all of a sudden I remember Kokomo Murase came to X Games Oslo 5 years ago and won it outright as like a 13-year-old, and she hasn't looked back since.
With a cute little smile like.
And I think when I think of big air, I think of the Japanese sweep, the podium sweep from a few winters ago. They're just so dialed, they're so committed to the big tricks and getting consistent with it. And I think they're always the ones to watch, especially in big air. We can't talk about big air, and we certainly can't talk about slopestyle without speaking about the woman who is having herself a moment right now.
3 names.
But Zoi Sadowski-Synnott. No one is better on a snowboard in that field.
No, I mean, you look at her slopestyle dominance, obviously what she did last year with the back-to-backs had never been seen before. We haven't seen a rider like that across the board, I'm the best snowboarder on the planet. And you're gonna have to prove me wrong, but enough about us talking about her. Here is a glimpse into Zoi Sadowski-Synnott, the pride of New Zealand and the future of women's snowboarding.
In every snowboarder's career, they're looking for an X Games medal or an X Games gold. Like, it doesn't compare to any other competition in snowboarding.
Already 6 X Games medals.
And this is the one competition a year that you're hunting for to like be on top.
Backside 12, yes!
The New Zealand season, it's real nice riding at home because it gives you the opportunity to like think about new tricks. I love using the time at home to do that. For me, picking new tricks, I kind of look at what I like to do, like the tricks and the rotations that I like, and then build off that.
We know Zoe's got a really nice switch backside rotation.
This year at X Games, I'd really like to do a switchback 12. Spent a lot of time trying to get to that one, and no girl had ever done it before. With the crowd that comes out, as well as the history behind X Games Aspen, it just makes you want to send it.
When I watch Zoi Sadowski-Synnott, there's this interesting balance, right? She's rather quiet and speaks from this place and is very direct and knows who she is. And then you see the loudness, like deafening loudness.
That's what's so rad though. It's X Games, it's Aspen. This is where we want to show off what we've been working on, and that sort of sense of pride. I want to bring the biggest tricks.
And the fact that she's talking about a switch back 12, when everyone else is talking about doing triple corks, she really believes that it's more difficult, and she can prove to the judges that, like, yeah, let them have their triple cork party. I'm over here progressing things at a technical end.
Well, I think that's a really important aspect of it too, and there have been different paradigm shifts within snowboarding, competitive snowboarding over the last decade, where it was like progression, rotation, 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 and then you had a guy like Danny Davis in 2013 say, hold on, style still matters. And I feel like Zoi is still in that school of thought. And then on the men's side, as you said before, McMorris, Mark is still putting down the cleanest 14s and 16s and hasn't necessarily had to go quad in slope style, even though you see guys like Marcus Kleveland do it. But for Mark, his run works because it's still so dialed, it's still so technical, and it's so clean.
You can't count out the possibility of a Marcus McMorris in slope style, even though he's the old man at 29.
Well, we talked about it with Jamie Anderson, right? Like, they're tied right now for most winter medals of all time, 21. Mark's won slopestyle 10 times before, and yet I see the influx of talent in slopestyle.
Young rock stars.
But yet Mark still, we call him the closer. It's like when it matters most, Tom Brady, last drive of the game, you need 6. Mark delivers. We've seen him do it. We've seen him take a gold medal from Rene Renekongas. We saw him do it last year with Marcus Kleveland.
He was that 17-year-old who came to X. Now he's that dude. He's that in that Shaun White position where it's like, I'm coming for you.
Right.
And there's a bunch of young talent across this field. And you look at in slopestyle at Ming.
Yeah.
Yiming Su, right? The anticipation of like this kid who's got this rock star energy. What do you see with him?
I think, yeah, it was unfortunate. He was supposed to make his X Games debut last year, and then China unfortunately had some major restrictions on athletes coming over. And in that time, he just has gotten better. I mean, he's got an Olympic gold from Big Air, the most recent Winter Olympics, and you see why. I mean, he's putting down 1800s, 1980s, spinning all rotations with relative ease. We can say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, as a rookie, he'll probably be favored to win Big Air.
I have never seen Knuckle Huck live.
It's a best trick contest unlike any other best trick contest. And really, for the uninitiated, we used to call this jokingly the Marcus Kleveland Invitational because it was just stuff he would do
on Instagram,
on IG for fun, and we made a contest out of it, which is great. But that allowed us to bring in guys like Zeb Powell, who would never be at X Games.
It's the most. It's the thing that replicates what it's like to go out snowboarding with your friends.
With your friends.
The most. Something that does not replicate going out snowboarding out with your friends, super pipe.
No.
You cannot find a 22-foot half pipe at any resort. Maybe a small handful in America. It is elite.
Yes.
You know, the stakes are much higher, and technically what's taking place defies all logic within this U-pipe. And this time in half-pipe riding is most interesting.
I love a guy like Scotty James, who started off his competitive career not firing. I mean, this guy was finishing 10th, 12th, 8th. But you want to talk about someone who was just a mad scientist about, I am going to work at this and I am going to be better than anybody. And I still think to this day, he's got some of the most singular, technically high intensity runs you will ever see. But to your point, an Ayumu Hirano, a Yuto Tatsuka, I mean, these guys have the tricks. If Ayumu puts down a triple cork in his run, this is, to me, the most anticipated super pipe final, maybe in the history of X Games, when you talk about the talent. And that's saying something, knowing that Shaun White and his presence over the years and what it's meant to the event, but that just tells you this field.
It was a question of Shaun having a bad day and who was going to have their best day.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is a field, and I'm not. That's actually putting the greatness of what Shaun had to offer at his peak in full light. But this is all of these riders on their best day could actually be the one, and that's what's going to make it very, very interesting. We're speculating about the mindset of Scotty James, but let's ask him. Where's your head at, Mr. James, Mr. Red Gloves?
I'm Scotty James and I'm from Australia. I started snowboarding when I was 3 years old. Since then, just took off and the rest is history, and here we are.
Got some powder, learnt a new trick.
Did ya? I really enjoyed riding in the terrain park, so naturally I would always be in there. Starting off with smaller jumps, hitting bigger jumps, hitting rails, riding the half pipe. I did absolutely everything, and yeah, naturally over time, just having that consistency really helped me progress.
I came first for 13 and under, and I made it to finals for 13 to 16, so I was pretty happy with it.
I love competition, I love the nerves, I love being in an awesome atmosphere similar to X Games with the crowd and feeding off that energy.
Okay, we've got a match. We've got a little bit of a back and forth. I don't know exactly what he's going to do, but what I do know, Rando, you put in the work.
Every action sports athlete wants to do well at X Games, so yeah, I put the pressure on myself a little bit and just want to put on a good show and show up and ride the way that I know I can and let the rest happen. Enjoy the show.
Scotty James gets to hold the gold, feel that steel.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
That's a good Scotty James you did right there.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's that swagger.
You know, I'm still trying to find it. So.
Well, you have to have medals put on you repetitively from a young age
True, yeah.
to the point where you love competition in such a way that you can like sign off with like, hey, you guys who think you're coming for me, I'm Scott James. I'll see you soon. Ready for battle, I think he is.
Yeah, he absolutely is, yeah. He's a fierce competitor.
Fierce. Another fierce competitor is one Miss Chloe Kim, who, like Scotty James, from a very young age has been doing this, 4 years old, and we all know the accolades. She's not with us at this X Games as she's in the midst of a sabbatical, resetting herself after an incredible success last year, but she allowed me into her home to have a little conversation with her about X Games, what it's meant for her, what it takes to win, so much more. We'll have that for you after the break. Welcome back to the forest retreat that is the X Games Aspen 2023 preview show. My name is Selema Masekela. This is Victoria Arlen, and we have mugs.
We do have mugs.
I'm here also, and
Oh, Brandon.
Well, I
Hi.
didn't see you there.
How are you?
Yeah,
I've been with you guys the whole
One more
time.
segment. One more segment.
You guys get
Keep
drinks.
making good points, and
Yeah.
you will get a mug too. So.
You'll get your mug.
We're about to meet two of the biggest stars in snowboarding at X Games, and we're going to start first with one Miss Chloe Kim, 6 times X Games gold medalist. You know, as a competitor, one of those people who you see all the smiles and the yay, and then once she taps that board twice to drop into the super pipe, something else happens. Here's Chloe Kim. Well, as you can see, I am sitting with Chloe Kim inside your actual home.
Yes.
X Games, something near and dear to both of our existences. Tell me what it was like for you growing up and watching X Games and what your perception of it was.
I watched X Games like it was a Disney show. Watching X Games growing up, I always thought that's where progression happens.
Who are some of the performances that you, or iconic moments that you remember before you became a competitor?
Just watching all of these incredible athletes like do things they've never done before, right? Whether it be Kelly with her front 10, or Tora with that massive McTwist, Gretchen with her huge crippler. Like seeing all of these things go down, all of these women just kill it, and you know, being such amazing competitors, I just remember that being so striking to me. And I was like, that's what I need to do.
You've done something that usually takes a lot longer for athletes to do, and that is to manage your space and to recognize when you need to take time for you. Right now, we're in the midst of you taking a season off after an incredible Olympic performance.
I just realized that I needed to find myself outside of snowboarding because it was the one thing that's always been part of my life. And I didn't really give myself the time to explore who I was outside of it. And I think kind of treating myself like a normal person has been really refreshing because I just took myself too seriously for the longest time. And that led to so much just unhappiness and ungratefulness. And I'm really proud of the person I've become today because I've allowed myself that space. And I've given myself that respect to, you know, like you could just be 22.
What's your advice to athletes that are coming into this X Games? Maybe it's their first event.
Just have fun. It's really easy to get caught up in all the things, but you have to realize that going to your first X Games is such an important moment.
I don't know about you, but for me, over the years of my journey, I've had so many kids come up to me that look like me, young, and say, hey, I started doing this thing because I saw you on the X Games. And I didn't know that those sports could be for us. I wonder what it's been like for you to be that essentially lone face representing the Korean American community in snowboarding.
Yeah, it's been so rewarding in so many ways, but I would be lying if I said it was just, you know, all positive. It was a struggle, you know? But after a while I said, screw it. Like, I'm not gonna keep hiding who I am. Like, I love my parents. I'm so proud of myself and everything I've been able to accomplish, and I can't be hiding this part of myself. Seeing how big of an impact I've made the minute I started to accept who I was and be myself is maybe the most proud. I'm so proud about that, and it's my it's my favorite accomplishment.
Has X Games seen the last of Chloe Kim?
No. I'm coming back. Just give me this year. I'll come back next year.
That was more of a rhetorical question. I know there's no way that the answer to that is no, and we do look forward to that when that time comes. Chloe, I'm going to let you get back to your home. Thank you for having us, and I just wish you the best this season, and we will see you soon.
Sounds good. See you soon.
In my 30 years of sitting down with some of the greatest names, men and women in all of action sports, this was, I think, the most intriguing interview and conversation I've ever had. Like, just like you're sitting with a young woman who represents the future of how we're going to look at women in professional sports, and someone who stepped into like really realizing her power. And as you see in this piece, like, she's not gonna let anyone else tell her what that is. And I think that's what's gonna make for a really, really long career. And whatever she wants to do, she's gonna be able to do, snowboarding aside. But speaking of someone who is going to be at X Games, Marcus Kleveland. If you don't follow him on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. He's been entertaining us. I think I started following him when he was like 15 or 16, and you're like, oh, this is different. And I think a lot of people thought like, oh, maybe he's just like cute for the gram. And then he showed up at X Games like, actually, I like to get down in competition. Now one of the biggest names at X Games, and Jack Matrani caught up with him in Norway.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, one of the most fascinating parts about action sports is just the rate that it progresses at. And so it's really hard to keep up with. You know, you got social media, and then like one day somebody does something, then a week goes by, and then somebody takes it to the next level. And so even as a fan, it's hard to keep up with. And the best way to find out what's happening, what's the word on the streets, is to connect with the athletes, which I'm about to do with Marcus Kleveland. Let's check in with him.
X Games, action sports, snowboarding, skiing is so rapidly progressing. And so we're just wondering, what is the word on the streets, man? What have you been working on? What's the latest and greatest? Anything you can share? Any secret tricks coming to X Games this year?
I feel like I've used the preseason really well to try and figure out new stuff. So yeah, I've been trying to like learn different axes, learn different tricks, try not to spin so much, even though it's still a lot of spinning. But yeah, it's fun to try and take different paths, try and see where it leads to.
So you're thinking of a different approach, maybe spin a little bit less, but be a little bit more creative on the takeoffs?
Yeah. It's like, I kind of feel like some of the takeoffs are kind of inspired by knuckle huck. I mean, it's scary. You can easily catch an edge and really, yeah, it can go bad, but it's fun to experience a little bit.
When does it get too much when it comes to spinning? Like, is there a certain number in your mind where you're like, okay, like, I know that's enough for me, but like, are you watching the next generation and you're just like, man, don't spin so much, maybe try to get a creative and progressive spin a different angle?
We've all kind of pushed snowboarding into this path, so can't really blame anyone for like spinning and everything, but it's like, you never really know when to stop, I guess. It's like the jumps are big, there is enough airtime to go even more. It's just like who has the balls to really do it. I'm not gonna go more than 19, that's for sure.
You say that now, yeah. Like, okay, you heard it here first. I'm not gonna go more than 19, and then someone's gonna go 2160 at X Games, lights the fans, and then.
Yeah, it's like you never really know what's gonna happen in X Games. It's a different vibe, it's a different feeling. The adrenaline is there. The people are like shouting, and it's like it really gets you hyped up to stand up top there and like drop in, and you want to do well. So it's definitely a different vibe at X Games.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much. I know it's late in Norway. Get some rest. And we'll see you in Aspen. Best of luck.
Yes, I'm excited.
Thank you, Jack. Fine blazer, by the way. I really enjoyed that conversation. So I love to hear young athletes talking about the preservation of the thing, and we look forward to how Marcus is going to communicate this. When we come back, final predictions. What is going to happen? Some people are going to be on the hot seat. We're going to get some predictions here as we are just 2 weeks away from X Games Aspen 2023. To say that it's been a joy to welcome you into our wooded wonderland that is the X Games Aspen 2023 preview show would be an understatement.
It's true.
And Brandon, you did well.
You did well, Brandon.
And so because of that, we want you to join our club.
Oh my gosh.
You get to be the moose.
You get the moose mug.
Yeah.
Is there anything in it, or?
You don't get coffee
You don't
yet,
get
but you
coffee
just get
yet,
the
yeah.
mug.
Thanks.
Keep working.
Salud. Hey, I'm bringing this with me to Aspen, baby.
Yes, yep.
Well, thank you guys for letting me be a part of this, and I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
We've shared a lot of memories, we've laughed, we've cried, but more so than anything,
we've gotten fired up.
I'm hyped.
Yes.
So hyped.
Less than 2 weeks to go.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you check xgames.com for the entire schedule. Get your viewing situation sorted. You don't want to get there on the 27th and be like, what's happening? When's it happening? No, we're not doing that this year. Get your schedule together. Get together with your friends. Get your viewing plans right.
I told you, Selema doesn't mess around. I
Doesn't
said,
mess
we've been lax the last few
we've
years.
just been watching like,
Yep.
yeah, there he is.
He's got a way of doing things.
He's got it.
He is an artist.
You guys have made it very easy for me to get back into the flying of the ship, and I'm having a good time. Let's talk about what your expectations are for this X Games. We had Tom Wallace and Jen Hudak here. We talked about the anticipation for some big ski showdowns.
Yep.
What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think on the snowboard side, we talked about it, but the men's snowboard superpipe final is just going to be one for the ages. I think Scotty James and Ayumu and Yuto, it's just everybody's got to have not their A game, their A++ game, and even then, it might not be a gold. That's going to be appointment listening and viewing for me.
Yeah.
I'm here for the big moments. I got to be a part of X Games for some big iconic moments. Travis Pastrana getting 3 golds at one X Games, and we have 2 athletes in Alex Hall,
Eileen Gu,
that have the opportunity to do the same. I want one of them to be able to join those ranks, to be up there with the Hall of Fame X Games athletes. All you have to do is be there, show up. January 27th to the 29th. Again, go to xgames.com. Get your viewing situation planned.
Dial it in, folks.
You got no excuses. We've given you everything, all the guides that you need to know. Now the rest is up to you. All you have to do is show up and be with us, and we will see you there.